Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, what does the millionaire version of me look like? How do they move, think, and feel? You must become that version now, not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. The secret to wealth is not found in effort, struggle, or luck. It is found in the state of being. Right now, you are holding an idea of yourself, whether rich or poor, successful or struggling. And the world is only mirroring that idea. If you want wealth, you must embody wealth first. A millionaire does not wish for wealth, they live from it. They are not concerned with lack, nor do they chase money. Instead, they carry an air of certainty, moving through the world with confidence. They expect abundance. They are comfortable making bold decisions. They do not doubt themselves. If you act as though you are still waiting for riches, you will always remain in that state of waiting. But when you assume the feeling of already having it, when you walk as though the world is already bending to your success, you shift into that reality. Do not let your current circumstances deceive you. If your bank account is empty, do not react with fear, respond with faith. If opportunities seem scarce, see them as already yours. When you enter the state of certainty, the world has no choice but to yield. You must become a vibrational match to wealth. Speak, move, and think like the version of you that already has millions. Take actions with faith, not fear. Carry yourself with the knowing that you are already financially free. Be grateful now. Gratitude is not something you reserve for when the money arrives. It is the proof that you have received it in consciousness, and what is real in consciousness must become real in form. Wealth is not outside of you, it is within you. Step into the reality of riches today and watch as the world rearranges itself to reflect the truth you now live. Everything you need to become a millionaire already exists within your imagination. The mind is not merely a place for thoughts to come and go. It is the origin of all creation. Every skyscraper, every thriving business, every innovation that reshaped the world first existed as a thought, a vision in someone's mind before it became tangible. The mistake most people make is believing that wealth is something external, something to be pursued, when in truth it is a state of being that first takes root within before it manifests without. You are not separate from the wealth you desire, the money, the luxury, the success. It is not some distant reality you must struggle to reach. It is already within you, waiting to be expressed. The only reason you do not see it now is because your mind has been conditioned to accept limitation, scarcity, and lack as normal. But what is normal is only what you have been taught to believe. Look around at the life you currently live. Every aspect of it, from your financial situation to your relationships, is a mirror reflecting the dominant state of your mind. If you consistently think in terms of lack, worrying about money, fearing bills, believing wealth is reserved for a select few, then life will continue to show you proof of that assumption. But the moment you shift your focus, the moment you begin to assume the mindset of wealth, the world will reshape itself to match that new belief. Wealth does not begin in a bank account, it begins in the consciousness of the individual. A millionaire is not someone who merely has money. A millionaire is someone who knows themselves to be abundant regardless of the numbers they currently see. They do not dwell in fear of loss, nor do they hesitate in their actions. They carry themselves with the certainty that money flows to them naturally, that opportunities arise effortlessly, that the world bends to their vision, and because they hold this state, life confirms it. Your mind is a factory of wealth, constantly producing outcomes based on the raw material you feed it, your thoughts. If you think small, you create small results. If you think in terms of expansion, possibility, and certainty, you generate limitless returns. The question is, what are you feeding your mind? Do you begin your day imagining obstacles, or do you see doors opening before you? Do you see money as something scarce, something difficult to obtain, or do you view it as an ever-flowing energy that naturally gravitates toward you? The answer to these questions determines your experience. Many people fall into the trap of reacting to their current circumstances rather than assuming control over their reality. If they see a low bank balance, they feel anxious. If they receive a bill, they panic. But a person who understands the power of the mind does not react, they create. Instead of reinforcing the illusion of scarcity, they close their eyes and see themselves as wealthy, secure, and free. They walk in the world as though it has already been done. They do not wait for their reality to change before they feel different. They feel different first, and their reality follows. This is not wishful thinking. This is how the law of life operates. What you hold consistently in your mind must externalize in your world. If you want to see wealth, you must first become wealthy in thought. Not just once, not just when you feel inspired, but as a way of life. Hesitation and fear are the only things standing between you and the millionaire version of yourself. The moment you decide to shift your focus, to reject every idea of limitation and instead persistently dwell in the feeling of abundance, you activate the forces that shape reality. Money will come, opportunities will present themselves, but it will not be by accident. It will be because you have commanded it through your state of being. If your mind is the factory of wealth, then you must become its masterful architect. Construct the thoughts that align with riches, abundance, and ease. Live in the certainty that what you imagine is already yours. And as you persist, the world will have no choice but to reflect your new reality. Wealth does not come first, the feeling of wealth does. Most people make the mistake of believing they must first see evidence of success before they can feel successful. They wait for the money to arrive, the opportunities to unfold, or the circumstances to shift before they allow themselves to feel rich. But this is an illusion, a backward approach to life. Reality does not create your state of being creates reality. Look at the world around you. Every object, every invention, every great fortune ever built first existed in an unseen realm, the mind. The same is true for your own wealth. If you want to become a millionaire, you must first become it internally. You must feel it before you see it. You must assume the mood, attitude, and certainty of someone who already possesses everything they desire. This is not pretense or self-deception. This is how life works. You are constantly projecting an inner state onto the world, and the world mirrors it back to you. If you feel lack, if you feel desperate for more, you are affirming to life that you do not have enough. And so it continues to give you the experience of needing, of chasing, of never quite reaching. But when you shift your focus, when you step into the state of already having, everything changes. The world does not respond to empty effort, it responds to certainty. Think of a person who is truly wealthy. They do not panic over bills. They do not hesitate when making decisions. They carry themselves with an inner security and effortless confidence that they belong to the realm of abundance. And because they feel it, the world continues to give them reasons to confirm it. Ask yourself, how would I think, act, and feel if I were already a millionaire? Would you worry about small expenses? Would you feel anxious about the future? Or would you move through life with ease, knowing that wealth is simply a natural part of your experience? The key is to embody that state now, regardless of what your current circumstances show you. If your bank account is low, do not react with fear. Instead, shift into the feeling of abundance. Carry yourself as though financial security is already yours. Speak as if money flows effortlessly to you. Make decisions with the confidence of someone who knows their success is inevitable. The moment you do this, the world begins to shift. Opportunities you never noticed before will appear. The right people will come into your life. Inspired ideas will emerge, leading you exactly where you need to be. But none of this can happen if you are waiting for proof before you believe. Belief must come first. Many will argue, how can I feel rich when I am struggling? How can I act as if I already have wealth when my reality says otherwise? But this is precisely the test. The ones who understand this truth, who persist in the feeling of already having, no matter what their eyes see, are the ones who rise. The ones who continue to dwell in lack, waiting for circumstances to change before they shift their mindset, remain stuck in the cycle of struggle. Your inner world is the blueprint for your outer world. Just as an architect must first envision the design before the building appears, you must first hold the feeling of wealth before it materializes. This is not about reckless spending or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about stepping into the knowing that your wealth is already real, already done, and allowing life to bring it into form. Doubt and impatience are the only things that delay your manifestation. If you check constantly for proof, wondering why nothing has changed yet, you are reinforcing the very lack you wish to escape. Instead, persist in the feeling. Let it become your natural state. When you walk, when you speak, when you make choices, do so from the identity of the millionaire version of you. And then, as surely as the sun rises, the world will conform. The wealth you once sought will begin seeking you. You are not separate from the wealth you desire. It is not something outside of you, something to chase or hope for. It is already a part of you waiting to be expressed. But for it to manifest, you must first embody the role completely. The version of you that is wealthy, the version that has already achieved everything you desire, moves, speaks, and thinks in a way that is entirely different from the person who still feels stuck in limitation. Look at the way truly wealthy individuals carry themselves. They do not hesitate. They do not second-guess their worth. They do not allow doubt to dictate their actions. They know who they are. They know that wealth is their natural state, and because of this, their reality continuously reflects abundance back to them. Now ask yourself, what if you began to live this way today? Most people believe they must wait for success before they act successful. They believe they must see proof of wealth before they carry themselves as someone who is rich. But this is precisely why they remain stuck. Reality does not create your state of being. Your state of being creates reality. If you continue to walk, talk, and think as someone who is struggling, then struggle will remain your experience. But if you begin now, if you adopt the posture, the speech, the decisions of the wealthy version of you, then life has no choice but to rearrange itself accordingly. This is not about pretense. It is not about empty arrogance or reckless spending. It is about aligning your entire being with the identity of wealth. When you walk into a room, do so with the presence of someone who belongs in spaces of prosperity. When you make decisions, do so from a place of certainty, not fear. When you speak about money, do so with the confidence of someone who knows it flows easily, not someone who constantly worries about where it will come from next. The shift begins in small, everyday moments. If you were already a millionaire, how would you handle setbacks? Would you react with panic and frustration, or would you maintain composure, knowing that no obstacle is greater than your ability to overcome it? If you were already wealthy, how would you approach opportunities? Would you hesitate, doubting whether you are capable? Or would you step forward with boldness and trust in your own power? It is in these small choices that your reality is rewritten. Every time you choose to embody wealth rather than lack, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind to accept abundance as your truth. And as you continue to operate from this new state, your external world will shift to match it. Think of the actors who fully commit to a role. The most powerful performances come from those who immerse themselves so deeply in the character that they begin to think and feel as that person would. Their body language changes, their speech patterns shift, their very essence transformed. And for the duration of that role, they become that person. You must do the same. But unlike an actor, this is not a temporary performance. This is the unveiling of your true self. The you that has always been wealthy, always been successful, always been powerful. The only thing keeping you from experiencing it is the identity you are currently choosing to wear. If you wish to be rich, think, feel, and act as someone who is already rich. Do not wait for the external proof. The moment you assume the role fully, reality will conform. The opportunities, the connections, the money, it will all begin to flow to you with ease. But it begins with you. It begins with your decision to embody wealth now. Most people spend their lives chasing what they desire. They run after money, opportunities, success, believing that if they work hard enough, push long enough, or prove themselves worthy, they will finally attain the wealth they seek. But the truth is, chasing only pushes what you desire further away. When you chase something, you affirm that it is not already yours. You create a state of longing, of needing, of lacking. And the more you focus on what you lack, the more the universe reflects that lack back to you. This is why desperation repels. It is an energy of scarcity, of not having, of striving without ever arriving. But there is another way. A way that is effortless, natural, and infinitely more powerful. You do not chase wealth. You attract it. Ask yourself, are you acting like a beggar, or are you carrying yourself as a king? The moment you stop chasing and start aligning, your entire experience shifts. Instead of longing for money, you step into the identity of someone who already possesses it. Instead of hoping for opportunities, you recognize that they are already yours, simply waiting for you to claim them. This is not arrogance. This is not wishful thinking. This is understanding how reality truly works. Everything you desire already exists. The version of you that is wealthy, successful, and financially free is not a distant dream. It is a present reality waiting for you to step into it. But you cannot reach it through force or desperation. You must become the person who naturally attracts that level of abundance. You must walk, talk, think, and feel as if it is already done. If you want money to flow into your life, you must first stop obsessing over not having it. Every time you worry, every time you stress, every time you feel like you need more, you are reinforcing the very lack you are trying to escape. But when you shift your focus, when you decide to embody the energy of wealth now, everything changes. Money flows to those who expect it, who feel at ease with it, who trust in its presence. Opportunities come to those who do not desperately seek them but know they are always in the right place at the right time. The right connections appear effortlessly when you stop trying to force relationships and instead become the kind of person that success naturally gravitates toward. This is the difference between chasing and attracting. Chasing says, I don't have it, but I need it. Attracting says, it is already mine and I am open to receiving it. Chasing is fear-based. It comes from a place of not having enough. It is rooted in doubt, uncertainty, and scarcity. Attraction is power-based. It comes from a deep inner knowing that you are already abundant, that everything you desire is already aligned with you, and that your only job is to step into that state fully. Stop running after wealth as if it is something outside of you. Instead, become the person who already has it. Feel it now. Live from it now. Let go of the struggle. Release the desperation. And trust that what is meant for you will come, not because you chased it, but because you aligned with it. Your present reality is nothing more than a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. If you continue to react to it, you will remain trapped in the same cycle. This is why most people struggle to break free from financial lack. They look at their bank account, see little to nothing, and allow that to dictate their feelings, their mindset, and their next actions. But by doing so, they reinforce the very state they are trying to escape. If you truly wish to experience wealth, you must ignore the present and live in the end. You must mentally and emotionally step into the reality where you already have more than enough. You must assume the state of financial abundance so completely that it becomes your new foundation, your new truth, your new identity. Think about it. If a millionaire lost everything overnight, would they panic? No, because their wealth is not just in their bank account, it is in their mind. They know how to generate abundance because they have lived in that state before. Their confidence, their decisions, and their actions all come from the assumption that wealth is their natural condition, and because of this, they will inevitably create it again. Imagine that you adopted this mindset today. Imagine that instead of reacting to your current financial situation, you began to embody the version of yourself that is already rich. How would you think? How would you feel? How would you move through the world? The key is persistence. The moment you begin to live in the end, reality will test you. Your external world will try to pull you back into old patterns of fear and doubt. You might look at your bank balance and feel the urge to worry. You might receive an unexpected bill and feel tempted to fall back into scarcity thinking. But this is where most people fail. They let the present dictate their future instead of holding firm to their vision. You must persist. No matter what you see in front of you, your inner reality must remain unshaken. When you refuse to react to lack, when you remain steadfast in the state of already having more than enough, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your assumption. This is not about ignoring responsibilities or pretending that money doesn't matter. It is about refusing to let the present moment define what is possible for you. It is about shifting your focus from what is to what will be, to what already exists in the unseen. Because everything you desire is already created in the invisible realm of imagination, waiting for you to claim it. If you knew with absolute certainty that millions were already yours, would you still worry? Would you still feel desperate? Or would you carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their wealth is inevitable? The secret is to feel that way now, to walk through life as though your financial success is already secure, to think, speak, and act in alignment with that truth. The more you dwell in the state of having, the faster reality will shift to reflect it. Most people delay their happiness, waiting for external proof before they allow themselves to believe in abundance. But the truth is, it works the other way around. You must believe first. You must feel it first. You must persistently dwell in the state of already having. And then, effortlessly, what you desire will materialize. Do not be distracted by what appears to be. Do not let today's circumstances convince you of limitations that do not truly exist. Your current reality is nothing but a fading echo of past thoughts. What matters is the reality you are choosing to embody right now. Ignore the present. Live in the end. See yourself as already wealthy, already successful, already free. And as you remain faithful to this state, the world will conform. And the wealth you seek will appear, not because you chased it, but because you finally accepted it as yours. Gratitude is the secret that seals your manifestation. It is the invisible yet powerful force that finalizes your assumption and allows it to take form in reality. When you express gratitude not after receiving but before, you signal to the universe that what you desire is already yours. You confirm the unseen as fact, and in doing so you make it inevitable. Most people misunderstand gratitude. They see it as something to be felt only after their desires have been fulfilled, after the money is in their hands, after success has arrived, after the circumstances have changed. But this way of thinking keeps them trapped in the illusion of waiting, in the state of not having. They are still looking outward for proof before they allow themselves to believe. But manifestation does not work that way. You must believe first. You must feel first. And gratitude is the feeling of already having. Think about how you would feel if right now in this moment you were already a millionaire. Would you be anxious? Would you be doubting? Or would you be filled with appreciation, relief, and joy? That feeling, that deep sense of thankfulness for the wealth you now possess, is the very key that unlocks it. Gratitude aligns you with the frequency of already having. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from longing to fulfillment. And the more you remain in this state, the faster your external reality will adjust to reflect it. When you place an order at a restaurant, do you sit in doubt, wondering if your meal will ever arrive? No. You trust that it is being prepared, and you wait patiently knowing it will be brought to you. You might even begin to feel grateful in advance, anticipating the satisfaction of enjoying your meal. This is how manifestation works. The moment you assume that your desire is already on its way, you stop worrying, you stop doubting, you stop looking for signs of its arrival. Instead, you shift into gratitude because you know it is done. Gratitude is not just a passive feeling, it is an active force that accelerates manifestation. When you express thankfulness for your wealth before it physically appears, you are affirming its reality. You are closing the gap between imagination and experience, between the unseen and the seen. You are sealing the deal. Doubt and impatience, on the other hand, do the opposite. Every time you question, every time you feel frustrated that wealth hasn't shown up yet, you are delaying its arrival. You are unknowingly pushing it away by reinforcing the idea that it is still missing. But gratitude eliminates doubt. It dissolves impatience. It places you in the state of already having, which is the only state that can bring your desire into being. This is why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly. They have mastered the art of gratitude. They do not wait for money to appear before they feel wealthy. They feel wealthy first, and the money follows. They do not hold gratitude hostage until their circumstances improve. They embody gratitude now. And in doing so, they summon the very things they are thankful for. How do you apply this in your own life? Start by shifting your focus. Each morning, before you even open your eyes, feel a deep sense of gratitude for the wealth that is already yours in the unseen. Speak words of thanks for the financial abundance flowing into your life, even if your bank account has yet to reflect it. Act as though the money is already there, and let the feeling of gratitude guide your thoughts, words, and action. As you go about your day, resist the temptation to react to appearances. If an unexpected expense arises, instead of slipping into worry, affirm your wealth with gratitude. Thank you for the endless financial blessings that always find their way to me. This unwavering thankfulness keeps you in the state of already having, and the universe has no choice but to align with your assumption. Gratitude is the final step. It is the seal that locks your manifestation in place. When you can truly feel thankful for your wealth before it arrives, you can be certain that it is already on its way. And as you persist in this state, wealth will not be something you hope for, it will be something you inevitably experience. Everything you desire, wealth, success, and abundance, already exists within you. Your mind is the factory of wealth, shaping reality through your dominant thoughts. When you feel it before you see it, when you embody the role completely, and when you stop chasing and start attracting, you align yourself with a version of you that is already rich. Reality will always reflect the state you persist in, so you must ignore the present and live in the end, holding firm to your vision no matter what appears before you. And above all, gratitude is the seal of manifestation. The moment you feel thankful for your wealth before it arrives, you confirm its existence in your world. You are no longer hoping, wishing, or waiting. You are knowing, assuming, and receiving. The truth is, you are not becoming wealthy, you already are. You are simply waking up to the reality that your abundance was always yours. And the more you assume it, the faster it appears. Step into this state now. Walk, think, and feel as the millionaire version of yourself today. Hold that assumption unwaveringly, and the world will shift to match it. Thank you for listening, and may you step boldly into the wealth and abundance that already belongs to you. For a moment and listen, not just with your ears, but with your soul. There is no separation between you and the wealth you desire, except for one thing: your own acceptance. You have been told that money is hard to earn, that it requires sacrifice, that it is reserved for the fortunate few. But I tell you now, these are illusions, nothing more than shadows cast by the mind. Money is not outside of you. It is not something to be chased, to be begged for, or to be feared. It is an extension of you, an expression of the abundance that already exists within. The question is not whether money will come. The question is, have you accepted it? You see, the world does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. If you believe in struggle, struggle will appear. If you believe in abundance, abundance will manifest. The wealthy do not become wealthy through effort alone. They become wealthy because they assume themselves to be so. Their state of mind commands their reality. So I ask you now, what do you assume about yourself? Do you see yourself as someone who constantly lacks, who barely gets by, who fears the arrival of bills? Or do you see yourself as someone to whom money comes naturally, as effortlessly as the air you breathe? Your imagination is the gateway to your fortune. The moment you stop waiting for money, the moment you stop hoping and start knowing, you will see how effortlessly it flows to you. Feel it now. Feel the ease, the security, the freedom. Let go of every thought of scarcity. Wealth is not something distant. It is here, now, waiting for your acceptance. There is no need to struggle, no need to plead, no need to work yourself into exhaustion. The only work required is the inner work, the work of assumption, the work of belief, the work of knowing that money is already yours. Walk through life from this moment forward as one who is already financially free. Speak as if you are wealthy, think as if you are wealthy, act as if you are wealthy. Not out of arrogance, but out of the deep and unshakable truth that what you assume must come to pass. Your world is not separate from you. It is you reflected outwardly. Every circumstance, every financial condition, every so-called chance event is nothing more than the projection of your internal state of mind. If you find yourself in lack, struggling to make ends meet, constantly worried about money, it is not because the world is unfair or opportunities are scarce. It is because, on a deep level, you have accepted the idea of scarcity as truth. Likewise, those who seem to attract wealth effortlessly do not do so by luck or external advantage, but because they have internally accepted abundance as their natural state. The mind is the foundation of all experience. Whatever you hold to be true within yourself must eventually externalize in your world. You may believe that money is difficult to earn, that financial success requires relentless struggle, or that wealth is only for a select few. If these ideas dominate your consciousness, then the world will confirm them. You will see your bank account reflect limitation. Your opportunities will seem few, and you will feel trapped in an endless cycle of financial hardship. This is not because reality is inherently harsh, but because you have unknowingly imposed these limitations upon yourself. The wealthy, on the other hand, do not necessarily work harder than others, nor are they inherently more deserving. The difference lies in their assumption about money. To them, money is natural, abundant, and ever-flowing. They do not question whether they deserve it, nor do they worry about losing it. They operate from an inner state of financial security, and as a result, their external world arranges itself to match that belief. Even in times of apparent crisis, they do not fall into fear because their foundation is unshaken. They know, deep within, that abundance is their natural state, and so it remains. You must understand that money itself holds no power over you. It is neutral. It does not determine your worth, nor does it dictate your happiness. What gives money power is your belief about it. If you believe money is difficult to obtain, it will be. If you believe it is constantly slipping through your fingers, you will always feel like you never have enough. But if you shift your internal perception, if you begin to see money as an effortless, natural part of your life, it will respond accordingly. Consider how easily you accept the air you breathe. You do not wake up wondering if there will be enough oxygen for you today. You do not feel the need to chase it, to beg for it, or to fight for it. You simply know that it is there, available to you at all times. Imagine if you treated money the same way. Imagine if you released the fear, the stress, the feeling of lack, and simply accepted that financial abundance is as natural as the air around you. How different would your experience be? Most people try to change their financial situation by taking external action while ignoring their internal state. They chase opportunities, work long hours, and force themselves into struggle, all while holding on to the belief that money is difficult to attain. This is why their efforts often bring little lasting change. The key is not in the struggle, but in the shift of consciousness. Before money can appear in your external world, it must first be accepted within. To shift your internal state, begin by observing your thoughts and emotions around money. Do you feel stress and worry when you think about it? Do you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," or "I never have enough"? These small, seemingly insignificant thoughts are powerful, for they reinforce the very conditions you wish to change. Start replacing these thoughts with new ones. When you find yourself thinking of lack, consciously shift your focus to abundance. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," say, "Money flows to me effortlessly, and I always have more than enough." Instead of worrying about bills, affirm, "All my financial needs are met with ease." Visualization is also a powerful tool. Take a moment each day to close your eyes and feel the reality of financial abundance, not as something distant, but as something real happening now. Imagine yourself living the life of wealth and ease. Feel the security, the freedom, the joy that comes with knowing money is always present. As you do this consistently, your subconscious mind will accept it as truth, and the external world will adjust accordingly. You must also release the fear of losing money. Many who achieve wealth fall back into financial struggle because they never truly shifted their inner state. They accumulated money but remained fearful of losing it. Fear attracts the very thing it focuses on. True financial freedom is not just having money, but knowing that money is always available to you, no matter the circumstance. Understand that you are the source of all abundance. The external world is not something separate from you, dictating your circumstances. It is your own consciousness materialized. Change your inner state and your financial reality must change as well. Accept money as natural, let go of struggle, and assume the mindset of effortless abundance. The moment you do, wealth will no longer be something you chase. It will be something that flows to you, because it has already been accepted within. Money, like all things in life, is an energy that responds to the state of mind you hold. When you view money as something difficult to obtain, something that requires endless struggle and effort, you unknowingly push it further away. The very act of struggling affirms that you do not have it. The harder you chase, the more you reinforce the idea that it is not already yours. But what if you could shift your approach entirely? What if, instead of struggling, you relaxed into the certainty that money is already on its way to you, effortlessly and abundantly? The belief that wealth requires struggle is deeply ingrained in many. From a young age, people are conditioned to think that money is something that must be fought for, something that comes only through hard work and sacrifice. They are told that financial freedom is reserved for the lucky or the privileged, and that the only way to attain it is through relentless effort. But this mindset only creates more resistance. It places money on a pedestal, making it something separate, something distant, something to be chased. And anything you chase remains just out of reach. Consider those who seem to attract money with ease. They do not run after it, nor do they exhaust themselves in the process of acquiring it. Instead, they carry a calm certainty, a quiet confidence that money will always be there for them. They do not worry about where it will come from. They simply expect it to come. And because they expect it, it does. Their mindset aligns with abundance, and as a result, abundance flows naturally to them. On the other hand, those who constantly struggle for money unknowingly reinforce its absence. When you are desperate, anxious, or fearful about money, you are sending a signal that you believe it is lacking in your life. Your emotions and beliefs create your reality. The more you focus on lack, the more lack you will experience. Even when money does come, if you are operating from a mindset of struggle, it will slip through your fingers and you will find yourself back in the same cycle of financial hardship. The solution is to release the struggle. It does not mean you stop taking action or become passive. It means you shift the way you relate to money. Instead of chasing, you allow. Instead of forcing, you receive. Instead of worrying, you trust. This shift begins with a change in perspective. Imagine for a moment that money is not something outside of you, but something that naturally flows to you like air. You do not chase after air. You do not wonder if there will be enough for you tomorrow. You do not wake up in a state of panic about whether or not you will be able to breathe. You simply trust that the air is always present, always available. What if you treated money the same way? What if, instead of fearing its absence, you trusted in its constant availability? One of the most powerful ways to detach from the struggle mindset is to embody the feeling of already having money. This means stepping into the emotional and mental state of financial abundance before it physically appears. Instead of worrying about bills, feel the relief and ease of knowing they are effortlessly paid. Instead of stressing over income, feel the confidence of knowing that money flows to you in unexpected and limitless ways. By shifting your internal state, you align yourself with abundance, and your external world must follow. This is not about pretending or faking it. It is about truly accepting that wealth is already yours. When you relax into this truth, you no longer need to chase. You no longer need to force. You trust in the natural flow of abundance, and that trust allows money to move toward you effortlessly. Detaching from struggle also means letting go of fear, fear of not having enough, fear of losing what you already have, fear of financial uncertainty. These fears only create more scarcity. Instead, develop a mindset of security, no matter your current circumstances. Even if your bank account is empty, do not allow your mind to dwell on lack. Remind yourself that what you see in the physical world is only a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. Change your thoughts now, and your financial situation will soon change to match them. The irony is that when you stop struggling for money, it begins to appear in your life more easily. When you stop worrying, you free up your energy to receive opportunities. When you stop chasing, you become magnetic to wealth. This is not about working less or avoiding responsibility. It is about shifting from a place of desperation to a place of calm expectation. There is no need to fight for money. There is no need to stress over it. Abundance is already available to you. The only thing that keeps it at bay is your belief that you must struggle for it. Let go of that belief. Trust in the flow of money as naturally as you trust in the rising of the sun. Relax and know that it is already yours. Wealth is not something outside of you. It is not a number in a bank account, nor is it the possessions you accumulate. Wealth is, first and foremost, a state of consciousness. Before money can appear in your reality, you must first claim it in your imagination. You must become rich in thought, in feeling, in certainty, before the world reflects it back to you. Many believe that they will feel wealthy once they have money, that the external proof must come first. But this is an illusion. The world does not dictate what you believe. Rather, what you believe dictates the world you experience. If you wait for money to feel rich, you will always be waiting. But if you assume the feeling of wealth now, before any visible change, your external reality will inevitably shift to match that assumption. Everything in your life is a reflection of your state of being. If you live with a mindset of lack, constantly thinking about what you do not have, worrying about bills, and feeling the weight of financial struggle, you are reinforcing that state of being. Your mind is like a projector, casting your internal world onto the screen of reality. You cannot expect to see a movie of abundance when the real you are playing is one of scarcity. So, how do you shift? How do you step into the consciousness of wealth when your external circumstances seem to say otherwise? The answer is simple. Live as if you are already wealthy. This does not mean reckless spending or pretending to be something you are not. It means embracing the inner confidence, security, and ease that a wealthy person naturally feels. It means walking through life knowing that money is always flowing to you, that opportunities are limitless, and that abundance is your natural state. It means replacing thoughts of worry with thoughts of gratitude. Replacing thoughts of worry with trust that everything you need. Consider the difference in energy between someone who is struggling financially and someone who is truly wealthy. A person trapped in scarcity is anxious, desperate, and fearful. They make decisions from a place of lack, clinging to every dollar, fearing that there will never be enough. They constantly affirm their poverty with thoughts like, I can't afford this, I never have enough, money is hard to get. These thoughts solidify their financial reality. Now contrast this with a person who embodies the consciousness of wealth. They are calm, they trust that money will always be available to them. They do not chase, they attract. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. They are generous, not because they have excess, but because they know giving and receiving are part of the same flow. They affirm abundance with thoughts like, money comes to me easily, there is always more than enough. I am open to receiving wealth in all forms. And because they think this way, their reality aligns accordingly. You can begin shifting into this consciousness now, regardless of your present financial situation. Start by imagining yourself as wealthy. Not someday, not in the distant future, but right now. Close your eyes and step into the version of yourself who already has everything they desire. How does this version of you walk? How do they speak? What do they believe about money? How do they feel when they check their bank account? Immerse yourself in this feeling until it becomes second nature. Your imagination is the blueprint of your reality. What you accept as true internally must manifest externally. If you persist in the assumption of wealth, your world will reshape itself to reflect that belief. This is not wishful thinking. This is the law of consciousness. The world cannot contradict the state you dwell in. Some may argue that they cannot feel wealthy while their bills pile up, while they struggle to make ends meet. But understand this: reacting to your current circumstances only keeps them alive. What you focus on expands. If you want to change your financial reality, you must stop reinforcing what you do not want. Instead, give your full attention to what you do want. Wealth, ease, financial freedom, and make that your dominant feeling. This is the key. Act as if it is already done. Think, speak, and feel as a wealthy person would, even before the evidence appears. Do not look to the world to confirm it first. Your confirmation comes from within. The moment you claim wealth in consciousness, the process of manifestation begins. It may not happen overnight, but if you persist in this state, the world will rearrange itself to match your new assumption. You are already wealthy, not because of what you see in the physical, but because of what you hold in your mind. Let go of the old beliefs of struggle and limitation. Step into the knowing that abundance is already yours. Live from that truth and watch as money, opportunities, and prosperity flow into your life effortlessly. Your financial reality is a reflection of who you believe yourself to be. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, who never has enough, who is always chasing after money, then that is exactly the experience you will continue to have. Your identity, what you assume to be true about yourself, dictates what you allow into your life. Many people try to change their financial situation without first changing their self-concept. They seek new jobs, new strategies, or external opportunities while still carrying the identity of someone who is struggling. They wonder why, no matter what they do, money always seems to slip through their fingers, why their bank accounts never grow, why they remain stuck in the same financial cycles. The reason is simple. They have not yet changed the person they believe themselves to be. Your world is a mirror, reflecting back to you your innermost assumptions. If you identify as a person who is bad with money, who can't seem to get ahead, who is always in debt, then no matter how hard you try, your subconscious will work to confirm those beliefs. You will make decisions, take actions, and create circumstances that align with that identity, often without even realizing it. But the moment you shift your self-concept, everything changes. When you begin to see yourself as someone who is financially abundant, who naturally attracts and manages money well, who always has more than enough, your world will start to shift in response. You will make different choices. You will attract different opportunities. You will behave in ways that reinforce your new reality. This is why wealthy individuals tend to stay wealthy, because they carry the self-perceived of a person who is wealthy. They do not doubt their financial security. They do not feel anxious about money. They know at their core that abundance is their natural state. Even if they lose money, they do not panic because their identity is intact. They trust that more will come, and so it does. If you want to change your financial reality, you must first change how you see yourself. Begin by observing the thoughts and words you use around money. Do you speak from lack? Do you constantly tell yourself, I can't afford that, money is hard to get, I'm always broke? These statements reinforce the very reality you are trying to escape. Every time you affirm your struggle, you are cementing it further into place. Start speaking and thinking from the identity of a wealthy person. Say to yourself, I am someone who attracts money easily. I always have more than enough. Wealth flows to me effortlessly. These are not just words, they are declarations of a new identity. The more you affirm them, the more your subconscious will accept them as truth. Your behaviors will follow. A person who believes they are wealthy acts differently from someone who believes they are struggling. They handle money with confidence. They make decisions from a place of abundance, not fear. They invest in themselves. They are generous not because they have excess, but because they trust in the flow of money. You do not need to wait for financial success to begin acting as a wealthy person would. Start now. How would a person with financial ease move through life? How would they think? How would they feel when they check their bank account? What kind of conversations would they have about money? Step into that identity and watch as your world begins to shift. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts what you repeatedly affirm. If you consistently reinforce a new identity of wealth, it will become your truth. And once your self-concept shifts, your external reality has no choice but to follow. You must stop seeing wealth as something outside of yourself, something separate from you, something you have to chase. Instead, recognize that it is a state of being, a reflection of who you assume yourself to be. The moment you claim a new identity, you activate a new reality. Let go of the old self, the one who struggled, the one who worried, the one who believed money was scarce. That version of you no longer exists. Step fully into the identity of someone who is financially free, and your world will reshape itself to match that assumption. Wealth is not something you achieve, it is something you become. Most people believe that financial abundance comes from effort, from struggle, from doing more, working harder, pushing against the world until money finally appears. But this is an illusion. The true secret to wealth is not in doing, it is in feeling. What you feel now determines what you experience later. If you wait for money to show up before you allow yourself to feel abundant, you are reversing the process. You are saying to life, I will feel wealthy once I have wealth, but life only reflects back what you assume to be true. If you feel lack, if you feel stress, if you feel uncertainty, then that is what will continue to manifest in your world. But when you shift your feelings, when you step into the sensation of already having, already being, already experiencing financial ease, everything begins to change. Reality reshapes itself to match your inner state. This is not a trick, nor is it wishful thinking. It is the fundamental way in which your world operates. Think of a time when you felt truly secure, even if just for a moment. Maybe you received an unexpected sum of money, and for a brief period, you felt relief. Maybe you completed a task successfully and felt the confidence of knowing you were capable. Maybe you imagined a future where everything worked out and you felt the warmth of that possibility. That feeling, security, ease, confidence, is the key. The money itself is not the goal. The goal is the state of being that money represents to you. It is never about the numbers in your bank account. It is about how those numbers make you feel. So why wait? Why postpone the feeling of financial security when you can feel it right now? The moment you choose to feel wealthy without any external validation, you activate a new reality. You signal to life that this is your state of being, and life has no choice but to conform. This is why so many who chase money never seem to catch it. They move from a state of lack, of desperation, of anxiety, and all they do is reinforce those feelings. They push harder, struggle more, try every strategy, yet their reality does not shift. Because internally, they still feel like they are lacking. Try a different approach. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as already wealthy, not in the distant future, not as a possibility, but as your current truth. What does it feel like to wake up in complete financial security? How does it feel to know that money is always flowing to you? Experience the lightness, the relaxation, the quiet confidence of a person who no longer worries about finances. Let that feeling sink into you. Carry it with you throughout the day. When doubts arise, remind yourself that your state of being creates your reality. If you can feel it now, it must materialize. It is law. This is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about shifting your awareness to a higher truth. The truth that abundance is not outside of you. It is within you, waiting for you to claim it. Look around at those who naturally attract money. They do not chase it. They do not beg for it. They move with a quiet certainty, a knowing that it is already theirs. They expect financial ease, and so they experience financial ease. Do not seek money. Seek the feeling that money represents. Once you embody that feeling, money will follow. This is the law, and it does not fail. Many people unknowingly push wealth away because they carry fear and guilt about money. They have been conditioned to believe that money is evil, that desiring abundance is selfish, or that wealth is only for a select few. These beliefs are deeply ingrained, often passed down through generations, and they create an invisible barrier between them and financial freedom. But money itself is not good or bad, it is neutral, an energy that flows in response to your beliefs and assumptions. Just as the ocean does not judge the waves that rise and fall, money does not discriminate. It simply moves toward those who are open to receiving it. If you hold fear around money, if you believe that wealth will corrupt you or make you less spiritual, you will unconsciously resist it. You may desire more, but at the same time you will push it away, creating a cycle of struggle. You may sabotage opportunities, reject financial blessings, or feel undeserving of abundance, all because deep down you associate money with something negative. Let go of these false ideas. Wealth is not a sign of greed, it is a sign of expansion. The more you have, the more you can give, the more freedom you experience, and the greater your ability to create, support, and uplift others. Money is not something to fear, it is something to accept as a natural part of life. Look at nature, there is no limitation, no withholding. The trees do not struggle to grow, the rivers do not beg to flow, the sun does not hesitate to shine. Abundance is everywhere, constantly expressing itself. You too are part of this divine abundance. The same energy that sustains the universe is flowing through you, and money is simply one of its many forms. If you have been conditioned to feel guilty about money, recognize that this guilt serves no one. Rejecting wealth does not help the poor, and struggling financially does not make you more virtuous. The belief that suffering is noble is one of the greatest illusions. There is nothing noble about lack. True virtue lies in understanding that you are meant to thrive, to flourish, to experience the fullness of life. Wealth is not reserved for a chosen few. It is available to all who align with it, all who release the false beliefs that keep it at a distance. The moment you let go of guilt, the moment you see money as an extension of the divine flow, it will begin to move toward you effortlessly. This is why those who feel comfortable with wealth tend to attract more of it. They do not carry guilt, they do not question whether they deserve it, they simply accept it as a natural part of life. They do not apologize for their success, nor do they feel the need to justify their financial blessings. They understand that money is meant to circulate, to be used, to create, to expand. You must do the same. Release any lingering fear, any hesitation, any belief that wealth is out of reach. Know that you are worthy of abundance, not because of anything you have done, but because it is your natural state. Just as you do not need to earn the right to breathe, you do not need to prove yourself to receive financial blessings. You are already enough. Allow money to flow to you without resistance. Instead of feeling guilt when you receive, feel gratitude. Instead of fearing what wealth will do to you, trust that you will use it wisely. Instead of believing that there is not enough for everyone, recognize that abundance is limitless. When you let go of fear and guilt, you make room for wealth to enter your life. You no longer block its flow with limiting beliefs. You no longer sabotage your own success. And you no longer carry unnecessary burdens. Money is not something you must chase, nor is it something you must suffer for. It is an extension of divine abundance, meant to move through you freely. Accept it without guilt, welcome it without hesitation, and watch as your reality transforms. The truth about wealth has always been simple. It is not something you must struggle for, nor is it something to fear. Money is a reflection of your inner state, a natural extension of divine abundance that is meant to flow effortlessly into your life. When you detach from the struggle mindset, when you shift your identity to that of a person who naturally attracts wealth, and when you feel abundance before it appears, you align yourself with the reality you desire. Let go of the old beliefs that have kept you in lack. Stop seeing money as something outside of you, something difficult to attain. Instead, recognize that wealth is already yours in consciousness, and as you claim it internally, it must manifest externally. There is no need for guilt, no need for fear. Money is not evil, nor does it belong only to a select few. It is simply a tool, a means through which you can experience greater freedom, joy, and expansion. Accept it with gratitude, welcome it without hesitation, and trust that as you change within, your financial reality will transform. You are already wealthy the moment you decide to be. Live from that knowing, and the world will reflect it back to you. Thank you. Right now, I ask you, what do you want? Is it love, success, wealth, health? It does not matter, for all things are possible when you learn to feel. The moment you allow yourself to step into the reality of your wish fulfilled, the unseen forces move to bring it into form. You do not need permission from the world. You do not need to beg, to struggle, to chase. You only need to shift within, to accept without resistance that your desire is already yours. Tonight, before you sleep, I ask you to do this. Enter that drowsy state, that quiet moment before dreams take over, and imagine yourself living the life you desire. But do not just see it. Feel it. Feel the warmth of love if you seek companionship. Feel the joy of success if you desire wealth. Feel the ease of health if you long for healing. Hold on to that feeling until it becomes natural, until it feels like home. And then release it. Walk in faith. Do not search for signs. The world must follow what you have already accepted as true. There is a hidden force within you, one that has been overlooked, dismissed, and misunderstood. It is not found in effort, struggle, or force. Yet it has the power to shape your reality, to turn your desires into tangible experiences. This force is feeling. You have been taught to believe that hard work, persistence, and external actions are the primary tools for success. You have been told that if you want something, you must chase it relentlessly, work tirelessly, and fight against the odds. But what if I told you that the secret is not in effort, but in knowing, in assuming, in feeling your desire is already fulfilled? This is the key that unlocks the unseen and brings it into form. Think of the one thing you truly desire. Perhaps it is financial abundance, a loving relationship, vibrant health, or success in a chosen field. Whatever it may be, notice how your mind instinctively calculates how it will come, how long it will take, or whether it is even possible. This is the conditioning of the physical world, a world that demands proof before belief. But creation does not work this way. The truth is the reverse. Believe first, and the proof will follow. Everything you have in your life right now is a reflection of past assumptions and dominant feelings. You did not consciously struggle for every single thing you possess. Much of it came naturally because at some level you felt it was yours. The house you live in, the people you interact with, the circumstances you find yourself in, all of it was once an invisible feeling, a silent assumption, a state you occupied within before it materialized within. The mistake many make is trying to force a new reality while still feeling lack, doubt, or desperation. They visualize wealth while feeling poor. They affirm love while feeling lonely. They work hard but carry the underlying belief that success is difficult. This contradiction keeps them stuck, for it is not the thought alone that manifests, but the feeling behind it. Feeling is the substance of creation. It is the energy that molds reality. You must learn to assume the feeling of already having what you desire. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself living in the fullness of your wish fulfilled, do not merely see it, feel it. Feel the peace of abundance, the security of success, the joy of love. Let it sink into your being until it feels natural, until no longer feels like a dream but a memory. This is not daydreaming, this is creation. The moment you accept a feeling as true, reality begins shifting to match it. You may not see changes immediately, but the unseen forces are already at work. Stay faithful to this new feeling, walk in it, speak from it, and most importantly, rest in it. Do not let the outer world deceive you. Circumstances do not matter, only your inner state does. If you persist in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the world must conform. It has no choice. For feeling is the secret, and what you feel, you become. Your imagination is the foundation of your reality. Everything you see, touch, and experience in the physical world first existed in the unseen realm of thought. Every great invention, every towering skyscraper, every work of art, and every success story began as an idea, an image held in the mind. But it is not merely thinking or wishing that brings these things to life. It is the assumption that they are real, the feeling of their truth, that causes them to manifest. Your imagination is not a place of idle fantasy. It is the workshop of creation. The reality you live in today is the direct result of what you have imagined and accepted as true in the past. Whether you were aware of it or not, your dominant assumptions shape the course of your life. The relationships you have, the money in your account, the opportunities before you, all of it is a reflection of your inner world. If you wish to change what you see, you must first change what you imagine and feel to be real. Many people believe they are victims of circumstances, but nothing in your external world has power over you unless you accept it as true. The outer world is a shadow, a reflection of your internal state. If you persist in the assumption of lack, struggle, or rejection, your world must mirror that experience. But if you dare to assume and feel the reality of abundance, ease, and love, then your world must shift to reflect that new assumption. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. It is not enough to merely think about what you want, you must feel it as if it were already yours. The subconscious mind does not respond to words alone. It responds to emotion, to the depth of conviction behind the thought. If you imagine yourself wealthy, while secretly feeling poor, your dominant feeling will win. But if you assume the feeling of wealth, of security, of financial ease, even before a single dollar appears, the world must rearrange itself to make that assumption real. Your imagination is limitless, and so are the possibilities before you. Nothing is too big, too difficult, or too far beyond reach. The only limits that exist are those you place on yourself through doubt and disbelief. The moment you release these limitations and dwell in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the world begins to shift. People, events, and opportunities move in ways you could not have predicted. Paths open where there were none before. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The key is persistence. You must remain faithful to your inner vision regardless of what the outer world shows you. Do not be deceived by temporary appearances. The delay between assumption and manifestation is only an illusion meant to test your faith. If you continue to live in the feeling of your desire, without wavering, without doubting, then what you have imagined will harden into fact. Everything begins within. Your imagination creates your reality, and feeling is the force that brings it to life. Assume the best, feel it as real, and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. The world you see around you is not as solid or fixed as it seems. Everything that appears in your reality is merely a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Your senses tell you that circumstances are real, that what is in front of you is all there is. But this is an illusion. The physical world is not the cause of your experiences, it is the effect. The cause is within you. Most people live as though the outside world has power over them. They react to what they see, hear, and feel, believing that circumstances dictate their emotions, their actions, and their possibilities. If they see lack, they believe in lack. If they experience rejection, they assume they are unworthy. They allow what appears now to determine what they will continue to experience. But if you live this way, you are merely chasing shadows. You are allowing the past to repeat itself because you are holding on to what your senses tell you is true. If you wish to change your reality, you must first detach from what your senses report. Do not let the external world define you. It is not permanent. It is not unchangeable. It is simply a reflection of what you once assumed to be true. To create something new, you must turn your attention inward and shift your inner state. You must feel differently first, before the world can reflect it back to you. Think of a mirror. If you frown into it, it does not smile back at you. The image only changes when you change. Reality works the same way. If you feel poor, neglected, or unworthy, the world will continue to reflect that back to you. But if you assume a new feeling, if you persist in the belief that you are abundant, loved, and successful, the mirror must change. It has no choice. The world is only responding to what you assume to be true. This is why detachment is essential. If you remain emotionally tied to what your senses show you, you will keep reinforcing the same reality. You must rise above appearances and live from a deeper knowing. The knowing that what you feel within now is what will soon become real in the world outside. Ignore the current circumstances if they do not align with your desires. They are nothing more than echoes of old beliefs. They are not permanent, they are not final. Does not mean ignoring your responsibilities or withdrawing from life. It means refusing to be controlled by the illusion of lack, failure, or limitation. It means choosing your inner state rather than letting the world choose it for you. When you master this, you become free. You no longer react to life, you create it. Your only job is to hold on to the feeling of what you desire as if it is already true. The world will catch up. It must. The unseen always precedes the seen. Change how you feel and reality will follow. Let go of doubt, stop reacting, and trust in the unseen power within you. Your world will transform before your eyes. You do not need to beg for what is already yours. You do not need to wish, to hope, or to look outside of yourself for signs that your desire is coming. If you truly understood the power within you, you would know that desire itself is proof of its fulfillment. The moment you desire something, it already exists in an unseen reality. Your only task is to dwell in the end, to assume and feel that it is already yours. Most people live in a state of waiting. They hope, they long, they wish for a future in which their dreams will come true. But in doing so, they keep their desire in the future always just out of reach. They send signals to their subconscious mind that they do not have what they want. And so the world reflects that lack. The secret is not in waiting, but in assuming, in stepping into the state of already having it. Right now, think of your deepest desire. Instead of seeing it as something separate from you, something you must chase or work for, imagine it as already fulfilled. How would you feel if you had it right now? How would you move, speak, and think if it were already done? Let that feeling consume you. Let it become your natural state. The more you dwell in this feeling, the more real it becomes, until the world has no choice but to conform. You do not need to know how your desire will manifest. That is not your concern. The world will rearrange itself in ways you cannot predict. Opportunities will arise, circumstances will shift, and people will play their part, all aligning to bring your assumption into reality. But you must remain faithful to the end result. You must persist in the feeling of fulfillment, regardless of what the outer world currently shows you. This is where many people fail. They begin to assume, to feel the reality of their wish, but then they look around and see no immediate change. Doubt creeps in. They check for signs, they question whether it is working, and they slip back into their old state of longing. This wavering undoes their work. To manifest what you desire, you must remain unmoved by appearances. You must trust that what you have assumed is already in motion, even if there is no visible evidence yet. Think of planting a seed. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust the process, knowing that beneath the surface, unseen forces are at work. The same is true for your desires. Once you have assumed them to be true, your only job is to live in that state, to think, feel, and act as though it is already done. This is the secret of effortless creation. When you stop trying to make things happen and instead dwell in the end, reality bends to match your inner world. What once seemed impossible will unfold naturally, without force or struggle. Simply be the person who already has what they desire, and the world will reflect it. It is law. Every night, as you close your eyes and drift into sleep, you stand at the doorway of creation. In this drowsy, relaxed state, your conscious mind fades, and your subconscious becomes highly impressionable. It no longer argues, doubts, or questions. It simply accepts. This is the most powerful moment to reshape your reality, to implant the feeling of your wish fulfilled so deeply that it must manifest in the world around you. Most people go to sleep in a state of worry, regret, or frustration. They replay the troubles of the day, dwell on their struggles, and unknowingly impress these negative feelings upon their subconscious. The next day, they wake up to more of the same circumstances because they have unknowingly recreated them in their sleep. But you can use this time differently. You can enter the state of the wish fulfilled and allow your subconscious to make it real. Before sleep, let go of the outer world. Do not concern yourself with what is happening, what has happened, or what may come. None of that matters. All that matters is the reality you are about to create within. Close your eyes, relax your body, and enter a state of calm. Feel the heaviness of sleep approaching, but remain aware enough to direct your thoughts. This is the perfect moment to assume the feeling of your desire already being yours. See yourself in the life you want, not as an observer, but as a participant. If your desire is love, feel the warmth of it surrounding you. If it is success, hear the words of praise spoken to you. If it is abundance, sense the security and ease of having more than enough. Make the scene as vivid as possible, but more importantly, let it be natural. Do not force it. Let it unfold effortlessly, as though you are recalling a memory rather than creating a fantasy. The key is not just to visualize, but to feel. Feeling is the language of the subconscious. If you simply watch images in your mind without emotion, you are only daydreaming. But the moment you attach a deep, genuine feeling to the scene, as though it is happening now, your subconscious accepts it as truth. And what the subconscious accepts as true, it must bring to life. Persist in this feeling until sleep takes over. Let yourself drift off in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. This is not a time to think about how it will happen or to question whether it is working. This is a time to surrender to the feeling of already having what you want. By doing this, you impress your subconscious with the new reality, and it will work tirelessly to manifest it in ways beyond your comprehension. When you wake, resist the urge to doubt. Do not look at the outer world for immediate proof. Simply trust that the seed has been planted and allow it to unfold. The world you wake up to will soon begin to change, aligning itself with the assumption you fell asleep in. This is the secret of effortless creation. If you sleep each night in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the day will come when you no longer have to imagine it, because it will be your reality. Faith is not hoping, wishing, or waiting for proof. Faith is feeling, a deep inner knowing that what you have assumed is already yours. The world may show you nothing yet. There may be no physical evidence. But the moment you feel something as real within, it has already begun to materialize. Most people believe only in what they can see, hear, or touch. They wait for confirmation from the outside world before they allow themselves to believe. But this is not faith. Faith does not require proof. Faith is the ability to feel something into being, to trust in the unseen so completely that it must appear in the seen. Right now, whatever you desire, whether it is love, success, wealth, or healing, exists as a possibility. It is not separate from you. The only thing keeping it at a distance is your belief that it is not yet real. But the moment you accept it within, the moment you feel its reality before seeing it, the process of manifestation begins. Your subconscious takes that feeling as truth, and the world around you starts to shift to reflect it. Most people sabotage their own desires by looking for evidence too soon. They assume their wish fulfilled for a moment, then immediately check their surroundings to see if anything has changed. When they see the same circumstances, they doubt, they question, and they fall back into their old state of lack. This wavering cancels out their assumption. You must persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of what the physical world shows you. Think of a seed planted in the soil. The moment you plant it, the process of growth has already begun, even though you cannot see it yet. If you keep digging it up to check if it is growing, you will only delay its progress. The same is true for your desires. Once you have assumed them as real within, leave them undisturbed. Trust that the unseen forces are working to bring them into form. Feeling is the secret ingredient. It is not enough to simply say, "I believe." You must feel the reality of your desire. If you desire love, feel the warmth and joy of being in that loving relationship now. If you desire success, feel the confidence, the satisfaction, the ease of already being successful. Do not wait for the world to give you permission to feel this way. Feel it now, and the world will follow. Faith is not passive, it is an active state of being. It is living as though your desire is already a fact, speaking as though it is done, walking as though you are the person who already has it. When you truly embody this feeling, you will no longer need proof, because you know it is done. And once you know it is done within, it must become done without. This is the great mystery of creation. The world does not shape your belief shapes the world. Change your inner feeling, hold firm in your faith, and reality will bend to match it. Everything you seek, love, success, abundance, or peace, begins within you. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. When you learn to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to trust in the unseen, and to persist in that inner knowing, you become the master of your reality. There is no need to struggle, chase, or doubt. Simply feel it as real, and the world will rearrange itself to match your assumption. Do not be deceived by what your senses show you today. The circumstances you see are only the echoes of past thoughts and beliefs. But you are not bound by them. At any moment, you can step into a new state of being, a new assumption, and watch as your world transforms before you. The key is faith, not blind hope, but the deep, unwavering feeling that it is already done. If you can fall asleep in the state of your fulfilled desire, if you can carry that knowing throughout your day, and if you can trust that the unseen is more real than the seen, then nothing will be impossible for you. You are the creator of your reality. Feel it, believe it, and it must be so. Thank you. There comes a moment in every life when the noise fades, the familiar disappears, and the path ahead seems empty. You look around, searching for hands to hold, voices to comfort, but all you find is silence. And in that silence, a question arises. Why is God telling me to walk alone? Understand this. Solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. You are being pulled away from the crowd because your destiny is not tied to them. If you were meant to walk with them, they would still be here, but they are not. And that is not a mistake. When God calls you into isolation, He is stripping away the distractions, the noise, the attachments that blind you. He is making space within you so that His voice may be heard above all else. Think of the greatest transformations in history. Moses alone on the mountain, Jesus alone in the wilderness. Before any great calling, there is always solitude. Because revelation does not come in crowds, it comes in quiet moments of stillness. You may feel abandoned, but you are not. You may feel unseen, but you are more watched over than ever before. God has drawn you aside because you are being refined. You are learning that your strength does not come from the approval of others, but from the power within you. Detach from the illusion that you need anyone, but the divine presence that moves through you. You are complete, you are enough, and this path, though it may seem lonely, is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. So walk forward, not with fear, but with faith. You are not alone. You never were. You never will be. There is a moment in life when everything falls silent. The conversations that once filled your days fade, the people who once surrounded you drift away, and you are left with nothing but your own presence. For many, this can feel like abandonment, like an unbearable loneliness. But what if this solitude is not a curse, but a divine calling? What if the stillness you fear is actually the doorway to revelation? When you are alone, the distractions of the world disappear. The opinions, the expectations, the endless noise of the external world, all of it fades away, leaving only you and the presence of something greater. In this sacred space, you begin to hear what was always there, but drowned out by the chaos of daily life. You begin to recognize the whispers of truth that were always speaking, but could never be heard over the noise of the world. God speaks in stillness. He does not compete for your attention. He does not raise His voice over the distractions you choose to engage with. Instead, He waits until you are ready, until you have been stripped of all that is unnecessary, until you have been removed from the crowd, until you are quiet enough to listen. That is why solitude is so often misunderstood. People think it is emptiness, when in truth it is fullness. It is the space where the divine reveals itself, where wisdom flows freely, where answers come not from the mind but from something deeper. Look at the great figures of history. Those who walked with purpose, those who saw beyond the surface of reality. They were not shaped in the presence of crowds. They were shaped in solitude. Moses was alone on the mountain when he received the commandments. Jesus retreated to the wilderness to commune with God before beginning his ministry. Even the prophets, the mystics, the enlightened ones, all were called into isolation before they could step into their destiny. Why? Because revelation does not come in noise. It does not come when you are entangled in the world's distractions. It comes when you are still enough to receive it. But solitude is not easy. The human mind craves stimulation. It seeks validation from others, reassurance from the external. To be alone is to face yourself without distractions, without excuses. This is why so many fear solitude, not because of the emptiness, but because of what they might find when the distractions are gone. The unresolved wounds, the suppressed emotions, the unanswered questions, all rise to the surface when there is nowhere left to hide. And yet, this is precisely why solitude is necessary. It forces you to confront what you have long avoided. It brings to light the hidden truths of your soul. There is a reason why the world teaches you to fear being alone. Society glorifies constant activity, endless interactions, the idea that you must always be connected, always engaged, always doing something. But consider this. Why is there such an effort to keep you distracted? Why is there a fear of silence? Because in silence, you wake up. In solitude, you begin to see clearly. You recognize the illusions you once believed in, the conditioning that shaped you, the limitations you unknowingly accepted. And once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you awaken to the truth of who you are no longer controlled by the falsehoods of the world. The greatest realizations do not come when you are surrounded by people. They come in moments of deep stillness. When you are alone, you begin to see that you were never truly alone. The presence you have been seeking outside of yourself has been within you all along. The wisdom you have searched for, the answers you have begged for, they are not given to you by others, they arise from within when you are ready to receive them. And so, if you find yourself in a season of solitude, do not resist it. Do not seek to fill the emptiness with distractions. Instead, embrace it, sink into it. Let it reveal to you what you have been too busy to notice. Let it strip away the falsehoods and leave only the truth. The loneliness you fear is not loneliness at all. It is an invitation. It is a sacred calling to return to yourself, to listen to the voice that has been waiting for you all along. You will find that as you embrace solitude, fear begins to fade. The anxieties that once consumed you lose their power. The need for validation from others dissolves. You realize that everything you were looking for, peace, clarity, purpose, was never outside of you. It was within you, waiting for you to be still enough to see it. This is why solitude is the path to revelation. It is not a punishment, but a gift. It is not the absence of something, but the presence of everything. And when you surrender to it, when you allow yourself to be still, you will hear what was always there. The voice of truth, the voice of wisdom, the voice of God. Time in every journey when the familiar begins to fade. The people, places, and routines that once felt like home start to feel distant, as if an unseen force is pulling you away. It is in these moments that confusion sets in and you begin to wonder, why is everything changing? Why does it feel like I am being separated from what I once knew? But understand this, separation is not rejection. It is the divine hand at work, clearing the path for your transformation. You cannot grow while clinging to what no longer serves you. Too often, people resist change because they find comfort in the familiar. Even when circumstances no longer align with their highest good, they hold on, afraid of what might happen if they let go. But growth demands release. You cannot step into a new version of yourself while remaining attached to an old reality. And so, when it is time for you to evolve, life will begin to shift. Certain relationships will fade, situations will become uncomfortable, and the very things you once depended on will start to dissolve. Not because you are being punished, but because you are being prepared for something greater. Look at nature. Every transformation is preceded by separation. A seed must be buried in the darkness before it can break through the soil and reach the light. A caterpillar must withdraw into a cocoon before it can emerge as a butterfly. The same principle applies to your own journey. Before you can step into your next level, you must first be pulled away from the attachments that keep you bound to your current state. This is why you may feel as if life is isolating you. You may find yourself alone, distanced from people who once played a significant role in your life. Do not resist this process. Sometimes God removes certain individuals not because they are bad, but because their purpose in your story has been fulfilled. If they were meant to continue with you, they would. But transformation requires elevation, and not everyone is meant to climb with you. But it is not just people you will be separated from, it is also old habits, limiting beliefs, and outdated ways of thinking. The mind is conditioned to seek familiarity, but growth happens outside of comfort. There may be aspects of your life that once served you, but no longer align with where you are being called to go. And so, life will begin to strip them away. It may feel uncomfortable, even painful, but trust that it is necessary. The very things you are being separated from are the things that have been keeping you small. Every major breakthrough in life is preceded by a period of discomfort. Before the dawn, there is darkness. Before expansion, there is contraction. You may feel like you are losing everything, but in reality, you are being repositioned. What seems like loss is actually alignment. You are not being abandoned, you are being guided. The old must be cleared so the new can take its place. The hardest part of separation is surrender. The mind clings to what it knows, fearing the unknown. But faith is the willingness to release what is familiar, even when the future is uncertain. It is the understanding that God does not take without replacing, that every ending is simply the beginning of something new. You may not see it yet, but what is being prepared for you is far greater than what you are leaving behind. The mistake many people make is trying to hold on to what is falling away. They chase after relationships that have already run their course. They fight to remain in situations that no longer serve their purpose. But resistance only prolongs the process. The sooner you accept that separation is a necessary part of transformation, the sooner you will step into the life that is meant for you. Let go. Trust the process. If something is being removed, trust that it no longer aligns with your highest good. If a door is closing, trust that it was never meant to lead you where you are going. When you surrender to this truth, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You begin to move with life instead of against it. And in doing so, you step into a higher version of yourself, one that is no longer bound by the limitations of the past. One day you will look back and understand why things had to happen the way they did. You will see that every moment of separation was leading you towards something greater. And in that moment, you will realize you were never losing. You were only. There comes a point in every journey when you must walk alone, not because you wish to, but because life will separate you from the crowd. The comfort of companionship will be replaced with silence, and the familiar voices you once depended on will grow distant. It is in this space, where you have no one else to lean on, that faith is truly tested. Because when you have no one to rely on, you are left with only one choice: to trust in divine provision and the power within you. Many people spend their lives seeking security in others. They look for reassurance from family, validation from friends, and support from relationships. While there is nothing wrong with human connection, dependence on others weakens the spirit. It creates an illusion that strength comes from external sources, when in truth, strength comes from within. This is why life will often place you in situations where you must stand alone, not as punishment, but as preparation. Because until you learn to trust in something higher, until you recognize the power that exists within you, you will always feel incomplete without others. Walking alone strips away illusions. It forces you to see reality for what it is, not for what you wish it to be. It removes the false security that comes from leaning on others and reveals the truth. You were always meant to rely on something greater. Faith is not built in comfort. It is built in uncertainty. When everything is stripped away, when there is no one left to call, when you stand at the edge of the unknown, that is when faith is either strengthened or broken. And if you choose to trust, you will see that you were never truly alone. God does not test you with solitude to break you. He does it to show you how strong you truly are. When you walk alone, you begin to see the unseen hand guiding your steps. You notice the small miracles, the doors that open when all seems lost, the provision that appears when there is no logical explanation. This is where faith is born, not in words, not in knowledge, but in experience. Because when you have nothing left but trust, you begin to witness divine power in ways you never imagined. But the journey of solitude is not easy. It is in these moments of isolation that doubt creeps in. The mind whispers, what if you fail? What if no one comes to help you? What if you are truly alone? These thoughts test the very foundation of your faith, and yet it is in facing them that you grow. Because the only way to silence doubt is through experience. The only way to overcome fear is by walking forward despite it. And the moment you do, you will realize you were never walking alone. Your imagination, people seek shortcuts. They look for someone to guide them, to reassure them, to walk the path with them. But the greatest transformations happen when you face the path alone. Because in solitude, you discover what you are truly capable of. You stop waiting for permission, stop seeking approval, stop relying on others for strength. You begin to move with certainty, not because others believe in you, but because you believe in yourself. This is why life removes certain people from your path, not because they are bad, but because you must learn to stand on your own. Dependence keeps you small. It keeps you attached to a false sense of security. But when you are forced to rely on something greater, you awaken to your own power. You begin to understand that strength does not come from those around you. If you find yourself walking alone, do not fear. This is not a sign of loss. It is a sign of transformation. You are being prepared for something greater. You are being called to trust in ways you never have before. And if you embrace this journey, if you surrender to it, you will emerge stronger than you ever thought possible. One day, you will look back and realize that walking alone was the greatest gift you were ever given, because it was in that solitude that you discovered the truth. Faith is not built in comfort, and strength is not found in others. It was within you all along. The moment in life when everything shifts. The people who once surrounded you start to drift away. The places that once felt familiar no longer feel like home. The conversations that once engaged you now seem empty. It is as if an invisible force is pulling you away from the world you knew, leading you into a season of isolation. This is not a mistake. It is not rejection. It is preparation. Every person who is called to something greater will first be called into solitude. This is a divine principle that has been repeated throughout history. Before elevation, there must be separation. Before stepping into your purpose, you must first be refined in the silence of isolation. It is in these moments, when you are stripped of distractions and comforts, that your true strength is revealed. Many people resist this process. They see isolation as punishment, as if they have been abandoned. But what they fail to understand is that solitude is a sacred space where transformation takes place. When God is preparing you for something greater, He must first remove the noise of the world so that you can hear Him clearly. It is only in stillness that true revelation comes. Think about the greatest figures throughout history. They were all called into solitude before they stepped into their destiny. The visionary, the leader, the one chosen to carry a higher purpose, all had to walk through a season of isolation. Why? Because greatness requires preparation. It requires a stripping away of the old self so that the new self can emerge. When you are alone, you are forced to confront yourself. You can no longer hide behind distractions, relationships, or external validation. You begin to see yourself clearly, your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses. This is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Because before you can step into your higher calling, you must first become the person who is ready to carry it. Isolation teaches discipline. It teaches patience. It forces you to rely on something greater than yourself. When you have no one to turn to, you learn to turn inward. You begin to cultivate a relationship with the divine, trusting in ways you never had to before. And as you grow in this trust, you begin to understand that you were never truly alone. But make no mistake, this season will test you. There will be moments of doubt, moments when you question everything. You will wonder if you are on the right path. You will feel the urge to run back to what is familiar, to surround yourself with people just to escape the silence. But do not be deceived. The old world no longer fits you because you have outgrown it. Going back would only delay what is meant for you. You must trust that isolation is not the end of your journey, it is the beginning of your transformation. You are being molded, shaped, refined. You are being stripped of everything that is not in alignment with your purpose. And while it may feel uncomfortable now, one day you will look back and understand why it had to happen this way. Not everyone will understand this path. Some will question why you are withdrawing. Others will assume you are lost. But do not waste your energy trying to explain. The process of elevation is not meant to be understood by everyone. It is meant for you. And when the time is right, you will emerge stronger, wiser, more alive than ever before. You will step into your purpose with clarity and conviction, no longer seeking approval or validation, because the time spent in isolation will have prepared you for exactly this moment. If you find yourself in a season of solitude, embrace it. Do not resist. Do not fear. You are not being forgotten, you are being prepared. And when the world finally sees the version of you that was being shaped in the silence, they will understand. But by then it will not matter, because you will know God separates before He elevates, and you were always meant for something greater. There will be moments in life when you feel completely alone. The world around you will grow quiet, and the people you once relied on will seem distant. You may look around and wonder why you have been left to walk this path by yourself. But the truth is, loneliness is an illusion. You are never truly alone. From the moment you were created, a presence has been within you, guiding you, protecting you, speaking to you in ways the world cannot understand. This presence does not abandon, does not forget, does not overlook. It is always there, whispering in the silence, moving in the unseen. But in order to recognize it, you must first step away from the distractions of the world. Loneliness only exists when you believe that your connection to others defines your existence. But you were never meant to depend on people for fulfillment. Their presence in your life is temporary, their roles ever-changing. Some will walk beside you for a season, while others will drift away. Yet, through it all, one thing remains constant: the presence of God within you. You may not always feel it, but that does not mean it is absent. The sun continues to shine even when hidden behind clouds. The wind still moves though you cannot see it. In the same way, the divine presence within you is always there, whether you acknowledge it or not. It is the source of every inspired thought, every moment of strength, every quiet assurance that tells you to keep going, even when you feel like giving up. The illusion of loneliness is strongest when you look outward instead of inward. When you seek love, validation, and comfort from external sources, you will always feel a sense of lack, because the world cannot fill what only the divine can satisfy. No relationship, no friendship, no amount of recognition can replace the connection you have within you. That is why so many people feel empty, even when surrounded by others. They are searching for something outside of themselves that can only be found within. You must learn to be still, to quiet the noise, to listen. Because when you do, you will hear the voice that has been guiding you all along. It does not shout, does not beg for attention. It speaks in the moments between your thoughts, in the deep knowing that rises within you when you least expect it. And when you begin to trust it, you will realize that you were never walking alone. Every time you faced an obstacle and somehow found the strength to keep going, that was the presence within you. Every time you felt a deep sense of peace, despite the chaos around you, that was the divine reminding you that all is well. Every time you received an idea, a vision, a dream that seemed to come from nowhere, that was the voice guiding you toward your purpose. But you must recognize it. You must shift your awareness. Instead of seeking comfort in people, seek connection with the divine. Instead of fearing solitude, embrace it as an opportunity to deepen your understanding. Because once you do, loneliness will lose its power over you. You are always connected, always supported, always guided. The presence within you does not leave, does not falter, does not weaken. It is your constant companion, the source of your wisdom, the foundation of your strength. And when you truly understand this, you will never feel alone again. So do not be afraid of solitude. Do not resist the moments of stillness. They are not emptiness, they are fullness waiting to be discovered. You are never walking this path alone. You never have been and you never will be, because the presence within you is eternal, unshakable, and ever present. And when you trust in that, loneliness will no longer exist. It will simply fade away like an illusion that was never real to begin with. Time in life when you must step away, not out of anger, not out of resentment, but out of necessity. The noise of the world, the expectations of others, the endless distractions, they cloud your vision, making it difficult to see what is real. But when you detach, when you walk alone, everything becomes clear. Most people live in a fog of illusions. They chase approval, believing that validation from others will bring them peace. They cling to relationships, fearing that solitude means failure. They remain in situations that no longer serve them, simply because they are afraid of the unknown. But true clarity, true understanding, only comes when you step away from all that is unnecessary. Walking alone is not a punishment, it is a gift. It is an opportunity to strip away everything that is not aligned with your purpose. In solitude, you are no longer influenced by the fears and limitations of others. You are free to see yourself, your desires, and your path with absolute clarity. Detachment does not mean isolation. It does not mean shutting yourself off from the world forever. It simply means letting go of what is clouding your vision. It means releasing the attachments that keep you stuck, that keep you living the same patterns over and over again. When you detach, you create space. And in that space, clarity is born. Look at your life. How much of what you believe is truly yours? How much of your identity has been shaped by external forces? By family, by society, by fear. When you walk alone, you begin to separate what is real from what is an illusion. You start to see where you have been living according to someone else's script, rather than writing your own. There is great power in solitude. It allows you to listen to your own thoughts, to your intuition, to the divine wisdom that is always speaking, but is so often drowned out by the noise of the world. When you are constantly surrounded by opinions, by distractions, by the expectations of others, it is difficult to hear the truth. But when you step away, when you detach, the answers become clear. Clarity is not something you chase, it is something that naturally arises when the noise is removed. Imagine a muddy river. If you keep stirring it, the water remains cloudy, but if you let it settle, the mud sinks and the water becomes clear. This is what happens when you detach. The illusions fall away, and what remains is truth. Once you gain clarity, you gain power. The power to create your own reality. When you see life as it truly is, you are no longer controlled by illusions. You are no longer moved by fear, by doubt, by the opinions of others. You begin to understand that you are the creator, that your thoughts shape your world, that your beliefs determine your experiences. Many people try to manifest a better life while still clinging to old attachments. They want abundance while holding on to a scarcity mindset. They want love while refusing to let go of past wounds. They want freedom while staying attached to everything that keeps them bound. But manifestation requires space. You cannot pour fresh water into a cup that is already full. You must empty it first. You must detach. Detachment is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is the understanding that nothing outside of you defines you. It is the recognition that your peace, your happiness, your fulfillment do not depend on anything external. And when you reach this state, When you release the need to control, to force, to cling, you become unstoppable. Walking alone is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It is the path of those who seek truth, of those who refuse to be trapped by illusion. It is the journey of those who know that clarity is worth more than comfort, that peace is worth more than approval, that their destiny is worth more than any temporary attachment. You are never truly alone. The presence of God within you is constant, guiding you, shaping you, and leading you toward your highest self. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and walk forward with confidence. The path may feel lonely at times, but it is leading you exactly where you need to be. Thank you.